That guitar
Hey.
solo. That guitar solo cracks me up because it's like I just don't expect it and it just rips right into it.
Heck yeah. That's that's a nice it's a nice chill opening credits music. Especially for
Yeah.
me. It's only 10 a.m. here. I'm still drinking coffee. I'm still kind of waking up.
Oh yeah, that makes total
I appreciate
sense.
it.
We're doing the best. It's really for you, the reason we do that. I know I'm
it's,
supposed to be able to do background music, but it's not letting me do the background music today.
always a struggle.
There's always something to do.
That's
So it goes. It's also just not letting me like add a source like I want to. It's just saying, "Hey, pick a background music," but I can't add a video source or anything. Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we've already got that. Hi, Brandon.
what? PJ,
Ha-
I didn't
When did
see you
you
there.
get here?
This feels good. It's been a while since we've streamed. We had
A huge
some
while.
technical difficulties last week. I
Yeah.
was traveling for work the week before that.
Yep.
Uh, and then I don't know. I can
Before
only
that,
remember
you were
2 weeks back.
Before that, you were traveling for fun.
Oh man, was that only a couple weeks ago?
That was 3 weeks ago.
Ah,
That you were in this very room, actually. The people don't know.
that's
But
right.
you came and stayed with me. You and your wife stayed with me and my wife, and we just enjoyed ourselves, and we like ate vegan food, and we did Orlando stuff, and it was nice. It was a good hang.
That
When
was
in
nice.
Orlando, eat vegan.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure that's how
That's
that saying goes.
I think that's our official tourism motto. That's our thing
I
now.
mean that one place we went to was really good though.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the market over by the 408.
yeah,
Dixie Dharma. That's what it was.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, nailed it. Dixie Dharma sponsor us. It's yeah,
it's
southern style food, vegan preparation. So you can get like biscuits and gravy, but it's all vegan and it's all good.
right, and like you don't feel bad eating it. I mean, you're always gonna enjoy biscuits and gravy, no matter what, vegan or not vegan. But it's like the 30 minutes after where you start like regretting it and like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I need to take a nap now.
It like
Whereas with
sticks to
this,
your ribs.
like we just pounded some southern vegan food and then went to the botanical gardens, walked
It's
around for
true.
a
We
couple
did go
hours.
walk around the botanical gardens and looked at they have a fairy door exhibit right now where you can they made up like this lore about fairies and the different doors they have, and you find the door and you can read about what type of fairy it is. Um, that was a good day. Oh man, I just had this like thought of like eating biscuits and gravy and then trying to run. And
I
have you heard
mean,
about the donut 5K?
yeah.
Oh.
Or is it Donut Mile?
Is it the donut mile?
I don't know if
Maybe
I can
it's
do
only
three
a
miles.
mile
Oh wait.
because
Oh no, there's a couple, right? So I remember when I was in college, Duke University would do one,
yeah.
or somewhere up near Duke. Maybe it wasn't officially sponsored by Duke. And then there's like an official race,
Right.
and that one I think is just a mile. I think they all start on a track because 4 laps around the track is a mile. So you do
Okay.
1 lap, and then you have to eat donuts. Oh no, maybe that's the beer mile I'm thinking of.
Is it the beer mile? Beer mile, like
Oh,
if I had
there
to
are
chuck
so
a bunch
many
of beer.
food and beverage run races.
I don't like to mix business and pleasure like that. I'm like if I'm gonna run, I'm gonna go for a run. If I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna work out. If I'm gonna drink a beer and eat donuts, I'm gonna drink a beer and eat donuts. I can't do both at the same time. It's hell.
Not at the same time. Like I'll do that after the race. Like
Oh
I've
sure.
definitely done 5Ks, half marathons, and you celebrate by having some drinks and food afterwards, but
Yeah.
not in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
Throw up.
No, absolutely not. There's a pizza 5K that was in Brevard. You went up to
Oh, I did that.
up in Vieira. And Vieira
Yeah.
is a small town in Brevard County, about 30 minutes south of Cape Canaveral, where the space shuttles go off, y'all. Um, But yeah, you run a 5K and then they're like, have a slice of pizza. I was like, don't mind if I do.
That's basically why I did it. Like I wasn't
I need to justify this.
I didn't even run at the time. That might have been my first 5K. But yeah, I was like, oh, I'll eat some pizza afterwards. And
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I was like 22 when I did it, so naturally I went out the night before and stayed up too late. And then
Yep.
these races start at, I think they start at 6 a.m. or like the
Yeah.
first group leaves at 6 a.m. So
Yeah.
got like 3 hours of sleep. Drove up
No
to
way.
Fiera for the race.
Only 22-year-olds can do that. Like now, like I don't have a good day at work if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, let alone
And
running a 5K. No, thank you. No, thank you.
it's more like, the alarm's going off. Nope, not doing
Yep.
it. Like
Eh.
it only cost me $20. Whatever.
I'm out $20. Who cares? I'll just run a 5K on my own later, and then you don't.
You get pizza later though.
Yeah, you do.
I should at least still get the pizza.
You actually show up to the race. You don't race. You go, look, I paid the entrance fee. I just didn't run. I need the pizza, please. It feels like I'm living through a pandemic if I don't get 8 hours. That's right. That's absolutely right.
That's a good quote.
So hey,
Woo.
we've been building a website, but first, something really cool happened in the past hour and a half. And that is that Universal Halloween Horror Nights Orlando finally released all the information about all their houses and scare zones. So for the first 10 minutes at least of this stream, we're going to be talking spooky stuff. I'm excited. Now, like I've known. Like first off, like Haunting of Hill House for those of you who are Netflix fans. Well, actually first let me explain Halloween Horror Nights in case there's people who are like, "What?"
Yeah.
So, Universal Studios back
Chainsaws?
in chainsaws, Beetlejuice. I don't understand. So back in 1990, Universal Studios created an event that was called Fright Nights, and then the next year the name was changed to Halloween Horror Nights. The premise is it's a after hours event. People show up and there's people in costumes meant to scare you. Haunted house attraction, you know. The only thing is that Universal Studios and Halloween Horror Nights has been doing this consistently really well for the past 30 years. And every year they have another event. This is the 30th year. Last year was supposed to be the 30th year. They had made plans. They had put it all together all the way through the summer, which if you remember last summer when Florida only had 25% of the cases it has now, everyone was scared. Now we have a bunch of cases and Florida just doesn't care. We're just riding alligators and coughing in each other's faces now. And the alligators are coughing in the alligators' faces too, actually. So, anyway, yeah. So last year was supposed to happen. They had actually planned almost all these same houses for last year. And they ended up scrapping it. They just decided not to do Halloween Horror Nights. Thought it was unsafe. What they did do is since they had already built these sets and they had already done everything, last year, they had the Revenge of the Tooth Fairy house, which is a house where these evil little tooth fairies try and steal your teeth, and the Bride of Frankenstein Lives. Both those houses existed as attractions you could visit during a regular day at Universal. So I've done the Bride of Frankenstein already, and I've done Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. And there was one weekend where they opened up Beetlejuice as well. And the theory goes that in the contract it said if Universal backs out of doing Beetlejuice, they're not allowed to blah, blah, blah. And so in order to keep to the contract, they had to do at least the one weekend where they had it as a house, as an attraction, so they could bring it back for this year.
Lawyers, huh?
Lawyers, the scariest thing of all.
Although, ironically, I think this is the rare case where, like, the average person like us actually benefited from lawyers. Like,
Yes.
usually it's like, oh yeah, some rich guy hired a really big attorney and they got off, didn't get charged with anything.
A technicality in
Or-
this case.
In this case, it's like, no, lawyers forced these rides open so the people could ride them.
I I am very very into Halloween Horror Nights. This is true. I read the forums. I'm on the Discord. I follow the HH influencers. I buy merch from the influencers, but not necessarily the event.
I
Um,
mean, PJ and I went to Tokyo just so he could go to Halloween Horror
yeah,
Nights in Japan.
Osaka technically.
I'm sorry, Osaka.
But literally, yeah, I was living in Korea at the time, and Brandon and his wife said, "We want to plan a trip. We want to come to Korea. When's good for y'all?" And we were like, "Oh, this is our vacation," because my wife and I were both teaching, and you didn't really get to take off time whenever you wanted. They were like, "You're working, and then here's your break." And our break happened to be in September. So the Minix were like, "Let's come through. We'll actually get to hang out a bunch." And then I was like, "Hey, we could also, because normally during those breaks, we could also take a trip to Japan together." And Brandon was like, "Oh, that'd be cool." And then I was like, "And also, if we go to Osaka, we can go to Halloween Horror Nights there, which would be totally cool, and I would love it. Thanks very much." And they were like, "Oh." And then they did it anyway. Because I kind of made it where it was like, "It's for my birthday, guys." And they were like, "Isn't your birthday in October?" I was like, "Yeah, but this is when I can go, so thanks." And it
That
was
was incredible.
terrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah. Like, if you go to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, don't get me wrong, it's scary, you're gonna have a good time. But when you go to Halloween Horror Nights in Osaka, you feel like you might die. It's that level of terror. I'll never forget there was one house. I forget which movie it was based off of, like the Exorcist,
Oh
because
yeah.
they like sprayed us with holy water.
Uh,
No, they gave us the holy water. They
they
made us
gave it to
spray people.
Kim in the front of the line, and they said something in Japanese, and she went, "What?"
But so normally the way these haunted houses work, and probably most haunted houses in the world work, is you just walk through them. And so you can kind of go at your own pace, or like if you're a little nervous, you can stick back in a group, or if you just want to get through it, you can just run through it. But yeah, in this one, they give you a bed sheet, and they have 6 people hold this bed sheet together. So it was the 4 of us and 2 people we had never met before, and you're you're kind of screwed if you're on the front or the back, because like I was oh shoot, what was I? Was I on the front or the back? Um,
think
I
you
don't
were in the
remember.
back. Kim was in the
But
front because she had the holy water.
but yeah, if you're in the front, like you're being slowed down, so the rest of the group has to kind of catch up. And but you're also like the first one to enter the room, so you're gonna get all the jump scares, and you're just like dragging people behind you. And then if you're in the back, it's kind of the same but the opposite. So
Yep.
you're like, you still have like stuff chasing you from behind. You're like, hurry up, we gotta go,
Run!
but you
Go!
can't.
Jellyman
Lots of
asked if
fun.
it was scary because the language barrier or just more well done. It really was just scarier. Like the language
Yeah,
barrier led to
like
confusion. Like we didn't know what we were supposed to do with the holy water. So as soon as Kim walked in the room, she threw it everywhere, and we were like, "You were supposed to save it."
well, yeah, and like even like the tickets we bought, we weren't sure what like house we could
Yeah,
get into, because we weren't sure if we bought the right tickets. I mean, it ended up being fine. We
yeah,
definitely
totally different
stressed about
format.
nothing, but no, it's like psychologically more scarier. Like
They do
if I had
haunted
to bet,
rides.
speaking of lawyers, I'll bet like Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando has been sued a couple times. Like probably somebody had a heart attack, or somebody
You didn't
has to go to
adequately prepare
therapy,
me for what this
and they
was
don't do
like.
they don't do like super scary anymore. Japan, oh man, I could see people getting scarred for life from certain things in that. Like remember that one? There was this. So they also theme the entire park. So yes, there's these haunted houses,
Yeah.
but in both Orlando, Osaka, they will have actors out in the middle of the road that they'll try to
Yep.
like sneak up behind you and be like, "Boo!" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Ah!" And you're like, "Ah, everything's okay." So um, at the one in Japan, there was this cage set up. So this giant like metal cage that could fit probably 50 people if you were like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And they would just randomly close the gates. So you would walk through this cage and maybe you get stuck in it, maybe you don't. And so what does PJ do? PJ goes, I'm going to go get stuck in it.
I'm getting in the cage. Absolutely,
so,
I'm getting in that cage.
So like the rest of us are hanging back around the sidewalk and PJ's just doing laps through this cage. And finally you hear like literally sirens go off. So there's like red flashing lights, like wah, wah, and it's like whoop, whoop, and the gates close. Steam starts shooting out, and these actors dressed up as all sorts of like crazy, horrifying villains, monsters. I think it was like a zombie outbreak.
Yeah, it was like zombies.
And so all of a sudden they all flood into the cage. So they're like these zombies that come in, and then there's these guys that are like military that are supposed to kill the zombies, so with guns, and they start like firing while like all these people are also just in the cage. It's all just happening around you, and it's like gunshots and explosions are going off. It was wild.
It was great. I was locked in the cage, and there was like a creature coming towards me, and they were shouting instructions in Japanese, and I was like, like I don't know what's. I would just watch what the person next to me was doing and just follow them. And I recorded the whole thing. It's like this, and it was on my Galaxy S5, so the video quality's not great, and it's really just me going once in a while on the audio. But, that and the haunted ride where they took a normal attraction at the park, like the Terminator ride that used to be in Universal Orlando. They still had that, and the normal Terminator ride is, welcome to Cyberdyne. We'd like to show you our new robot. Something goes wrong. Arnold Schwarzenegger robot shows up, saves the audience, blah, blah. Thanks very much. And then you leave. So they made it haunted, where the girl from The Ring has taken over Cyberdyne. And so you're in the audience, and the girl from The Ring just shows up on screen or in person. And during the show itself, everything went dark during the normal show presentation, and they would just shine a spotlight on her on one part of the stage. And then it would disappear, and there'd be like just 7 seconds of silence, and then a totally different part of the stage. And then she's in the aisle, and then she's in this part of the aisle. And then they shined a spotlight just in the middle of the audience, and we all lost our minds. Because they had been psychologically training us that the spotlight meant she was there, and people were like, where is she? Where is she? And oh my God, it was brilliant. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah. I was terrified. I think I remember like running out of the theater once the doors opened. But it was really cool. It was really cool. So yeah, Japan does it right.
Yeah, and it was cool that it was the normal show, at least to start. And then like she would like, it'd almost be like the video feed got interrupted for a second, and you just see her like flash up, and the normal show actors were like, oh, what was that? Like, I'm sure it's nothing. And they keep going. And like slowly she just takes over the whole show. So
terrifying.
Really get you.
Really good. So, so as far as the houses that are going to be in Orlando this year, they're the same ones that were going to be there last year, with the exception there was a rumor. This is how deep I'm in. I follow the rumors of Halloween Horror Nights. There was going to be a Billie Eilish house last year, because Billie Eilish is her music videos are kind of spooky, and even like her songs. There's a sort of like where do we go when we sleep, and like there's a bunch. I explained her as like Marilyn Manson for Coachella influencers. And she was going to get her own house, and a bunch of like the old HHN heads, like the 45-year-olds that show up and get too drunk, and there's a lot of people that are HHN fans were really negative about it. But I was like, I mean, if you've seen the music videos, this is going to be a good haunted house. So I'm a little sad it didn't make its way this year, but Haunting of Hill House, Beetlejuice, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Bride of Frankenstein, Wicked Growth Puppet Theater, and Revenge of the Tooth Fairy all were going to happen last year. Wicked Growth, The Realm of the Pumpkin, there's a whole series of Halloween houses that are kind of based on fairy tales, and this fits in with that lore. This one, Legendary Truth, is actually... Lord, I don't even know how to explain this one. So, like, there has been throughout the years of Halloween Horror Nights, a group of people who have been creating lore based on the Halloween Horror Nights stuff. And it has its own like whole outside like set of like things. And one year you were actually able to like find legendary truth clues at the park and it would like tie into the story. It was kind of cool. It was this like extracurricular thing you could do. And scary is Cary, Ohio. A lot of the original houses in Halloween Horror Nights history have taken place in Cary, Ohio. So now this is part of like that 30 years lore as well. Very exciting. It's the icon, Jack. He's a murderous clown that's been doing Halloween Horror Nights. I think he's done like 4 years where he's been the icon. Um, have you done Halloween Horror Nights Orlando, Brandon? I feel like you have to have.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Were you ever there when Jack was there? Or you know what you would remember? You would remember the commercials for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely did it with Jack. Like the last time Kim and I went. Oh gosh, we were in Orlando for some reason. It was like the night before we were catching a flight out of Orlando or something like that, and did Halloween Horror Nights. So somewhere between 2010 and 2015.
It happened. So like you were talking about before, the areas on the areas on the street, they're called scare zones. There's one that's based on Crypt TV, which is a YouTube channel that makes short horror films. I'm very excited for that one because I started watching Crypt TV recently. This one, Gorewood Forest, is based on Halloween Horror Nights 14, which was the year that it took place at Islands of Adventure instead of Universal Studios Orlando. I
did that one.
There you go.
Because it was like they would connect the two parks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it's supposed to be like a cornfield in between them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you had to like go through the maze.
You had to go through this like cornfield maze, which is how like every horror movie starts.
Of course.
Like, oh, we'll take a shortcut through this cornfield, and then bad things happen.
And then dead. I will say they never did the two parks again. And they've never done Islands of Adventure since either. There's just I think there was like an issue because Islands of Adventure has a lot of like intellectual property zones. Like Jurassic Park is there, and Dr. Seuss is there, and Marvel is there, and you have to get okays from like all of them before you can really do anything with it. And Universal Studios is like there are rides that are based on that, but there are no areas really based on other than Harry Potter, and they don't do anything at Harry Potter for Universal for Horror Nights. So yeah, oh my god, I'm so excited. And there's gonna be like some shows, which there always is. I don't know anything about those, but dude, I'm so ready. I'm gonna buy my pass probably end of this month. I'm gonna see what happens with these COVID cases and decide if I'm actually gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna wear like a KN95 mask or something.
Right.
Be serious.
Well, especially with like Halloween Horror Nights, the whole point is somebody like gets in your face and shouts at you, like,
yeah,
like I'm scaring you. It's
just
like
wear the mask,
right?
So yeah. That's very exciting, and this is, as everyone can tell by now, a show about coding and about developers, specifically web development. And right. Today we're finally gonna try and get the CI/CD working on my website, our website, really. You've built more of it than I have. yournewfavoritepoem.net, and the whole point of yournewfavoritepoem.net is to introduce you to a poet that you may not know, or a poem that you haven't read, because man, it takes a long time to spin up, don't it?
Yeah. Well, and computers run more slowly when you're streaming your screen and your video and your audio.
I don't think that's true. Show me the science on that. So, yeah, here's the website. It's got a bunch of poets, a bunch of stretched out images that I did not do a good job of cropping. and you can read all of these poets poems on this website. Or if you're in the mood for something random, you can click that random button, and it'll take you to one of those poems. Oh, Layli Long
Oh,
Silk are so
cool.
good. This one's I like this one a lot because you can read it in any order.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
As we
it's
embrace the present, we struggle to find the grief we shift into light across our faces. Woo!
which is kind of
That's
a
cool.
dope sentence. And you and the poet made that sentence together, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Interactive poetry. So yeah, this is built in ASP.NET Core, and we're using Entity Framework Core and .NET. What is it? 5?
Probably
Yeah,
five.
probably
Six is
5.
it's out, but it's still in preview.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty dope. We have not added a lot to it. We've been working on tests lately, and I suppose I should also be running Visual Studio at this point too, huh?
Yeah,
So we can actually look at the code too. But today our big focus is here on GitLab, where we're hosting the repo because that's where I work. I work for GitLab, and it makes sense to use your own company's product, right?
for sure. So
So go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say we were chatting about this before jumping on the stream when basically PJ and I sit down and we go, "What do you want to do today?" And I go, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" And so he's like, we haven't really finished the CI/CD pipeline for the website yet." I'm like, all right, sweet. Um, so yeah, we were checking this out before the show, and PJ pointed out that if you create this YAML file, gitlab.ci.yaml, then what happens? It automatically runs it or ingests it.
Well, the way it goes is in order to do CI/CD on GitLab at all, you have to have this file. Whereas on when we were using GitHub Actions, you sort of create it in the repo, but it's several different files that we had, and we were saying, hey, here's the job, here's this. In GitLab, it's a single file that contains all the stuff that you're asking it to do regarding these CI/CD pipelines. So in this case, all you have to do is in your repo, you have to have this file .gitlab-ci.yaml. And if you don't have that when you create it, there are templates that it'll give you. Like if you want to have a template for F sharp, if you want to have a template for Go, if you want to have a template for, there's a bunch of things that you just say, make this file, and you can pick a template and it'll automatically apply it. And that's what we're looking at here. This is the CI/CD template for .NET, and it looks like specifically .NET Core actually, which is kind of cool. Um, and it comes with a bunch of commented out instructions that obviously won't run when you run this file. Uh, Last thing I do need to say is that the way that GitLab does CI/CD is they use something called a runner, and a runner is written in Go. You can write your own, or you can use what are called shared runners. And GitLab has a bunch of just shared runners that are usually available, but there are times where if you if you go to run it and your pipeline's not running, it's waiting on a runner. So if you are an enterprise business, obviously you're going to want to write your own runners. You don't want to depend on the shared runners. But in this case, we'll just be using shared runners. So two things you need to make CI/CD work for GitLab is this gitlab-ci.yaml file and a runner, which you can just use the ones that are on GitLab if you've got kind of a simple project that's just you, like I have here.
Makes sense. Imagine runners like the server or the VMs that run the
Yeah,
pipeline. So
it
yeah, if
makes it all
somebody's already
happen.
using it, then you gotta wait.
Wait your turn to play on the virtual machine, please. So,
So
so you know what I do have? I have our old YAML files in this repo. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, those might help. Because yeah, we did this in GitHub Actions originally.
Hmm.
Yep, that's it. I recognize that YAML.
You wrote that YAML. Actually, I think you told me what to write. You dictated that YAML.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was written by Azure for us,
Yeah,
which
that's true.
was nice because Azure owns or Azure Microsoft owns Azure, Microsoft owns GitHub. So there's like if you want to create one like we're doing today, but for GitHub in Azure, they'll actually like just create the file for you.
Hmm.
Uh, but I checked this morning and they don't have one for GitLab. They've got one for Bitbucket,
The
but
other major player in the game.
yeah, right. Like why don't we have GitLab stuff? Azure.
Yeah, Azure, please. So we can see that we've got some jobs here, and we've got a stage called build. Is that correct? Right? It's called build,
Yep.
and it says, "Hey, do this. You're going to use Ubuntu's latest," and that would be similar to like an image, right? If we're looking at right,
Yep.
and then we're saying, "Hey, what are we going to do? We're going to do actions checkout. We're going to do." It gives a bunch of
Yeah.
dependencies, a bunch of
So
yeah. It's like do this, do this, do this, do this, do
basically,
this.
with GitHub Actions, you can write an action and actually publish it, and then other people can use your action inside of their action. So that's what those top two ones are, like the setup.net. Somebody already wrote one, so if you just tell it what version of .NET you want, then it'll do it for you. So you don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel, which is nice. But all of these ones that just say run, the ones
Yeah.
that don't say uses, well, I was about to say we wrote those, but those those are the command line commands. So run is just kind of the like I'm just gonna enter the command line command myself. So a lot of these things we'll be able to copy paste. I mean, some of those have variables involved. So like that env.net root, that's a variable defined in your GitHub repo.
Hmm.
Same thing like secrets dot blah blah blah. So yeah, we'll have to figure out where to find all that. Like where do we find this secret published profile in Azure so that we can store that somewhere and reference it in our CI/CD pipeline? I don't know, but that's what we're struggling through with today.
Yeah, and this is new for me because like I've only worked at GitLab for 3 months. I know the idea of how CI/CD works, and if someone was like, "What do I need to make CI/CD work?" I could tell them what they need. But as far as actually writing it, this is kind of my first real foray into trying to write it. So this is going to be new for me. It's certainly new for Brandon, but it's familiar. It's like a
Right.
different flavor here that we got to work with. I will say I know exactly where to get secrets, and I know exactly where to get environment variables, and I did not get there first. Hold on. Do what I want. Down here in
So try this
settings
at
and
home, kids.
CI/CD settings, you can have variables right here, and you can make them
Cool.
protected, or you can
Yes.
make them masked, and
Oh
that's
yeah. Also good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Because this is where, well, this is just a tough thing in general when you're making open source projects because everything's open source. So you can't just put your API key, or in this case, our Azure publishing profile information in the repository because then everybody in the world will have access to that. And so I really appreciate that this exists where we can upload some things kind of to the to we'll say the GitLab to the GitLab
yeah,
repository without
yeah,
having to put it in the source code. So
yeah.
we can reference it in our CI/CD pipeline, but we don't have to share that secret with the world because this didn't always exist. Like when I started using source repositories like GitHub, like they didn't have these options, so you had
That's
to get kind of
crazy.
creative.
That's really crazy. I guess I do need to probably pull. Maybe I don't need to pull. Um, I'm just gonna head into my repo here on my terminal, which I'm gonna make a little bigger and don't zoom in. Let's see if this works.
Man,
Yeah, there we
plus,
go.
yeah.
There we go. And we gotta
Also
go.
resizes the window, which is a little weird, but
Yeah.
I was doing a demo recently, either yesterday or the day before, and yeah, I was like, oh, let me increase the font size real quick, and the window ended up becoming bigger than the monitor. Like it was just spilling out, and then I had to like move it, resize it until it finally fit back in. And it's like, did you really have to increase the window size like that when all I wanted was the font size?
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks. It didn't help at all.
So
So it
I was
looks
just like,
like
command plus, command plus, command plus, command plus.
I think the GitLab CI.yml, I think that file was new on because I think I created it on GitLab using their web IDE.
Mhm.
So I just pulled that. I did a fetch and I did a pull. So I think we're up to date on the update tests branch.
Ooh.
Nice.
How about the main branch?
Oh, snap.
'Cause,
Yeah.
we should probably do this on the main branch, and then we could merge that commit into. Actually, did we finish the update tests? Or
We
is,
did. Was there a reason we didn't merge it? Hold on. Let's take a look
or
here.
did we? Because
Uh,
we got the tests working. That was
mhm.
kind of the point of update tests. So it says it was one commit ahead and four commits behind. Yeah,
Hmm.
what was the last commit we did to? Let's
Update
see,
deploy YAML file a month ago.
one
This
month, two
one.
month, 4 months.
It's 1 month is the most recent one. I think I put that in there.
Hmm. I mean, what can you click on that? Actually, how do you see the commit history? Oh, probably the history button.
Yeah,
There we go. So updated the build and test pipeline. And can you
I
open
know what
this
it
side by
is.
side with the main branch? So you
So
can see like,
this is my work profile and this is my personal. This, if I updated it from the terminal, that's who's doing it. It's my work guy is on the terminal. This is stuff I did on. So this is the last thing we did together is update tests on new branch. That's the last commit we did together.
right on. Yeah, I was thinking, let's look at the commit history for this branch side by side with the commit history for main. Um, and then we can see them and see like, is this branch really that far ahead? Are we still working on this branch?
Hmm.
Uh, so what I was thinking, yeah, if you just open another
Yeah.
window and then look at history on the main branch, is I'm thinking we should just merge the update test branch with main or into
Hmm.
main
Yeah.
if it needs it, and then we should just push on with the main branch. Okay, so created the YAML, had a missing previous update. So okay, yeah, just kind of like you predicted. Um,
Yeah.
go to the other history.
Nope. There it is.
And then let's see, go,
I go to the commits.
yeah, commits, yeah,
There we go.
and change that from the main branch. Okay, so we did update and build test pipelines. That's a different commit.
Hmm.
Update the deploy YAML file. Okay. Ah, ah,
I think we can merge it, honestly.
okay. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's just merge it and then we'll do everything on the main branch. The only reason I bring that up is your CI/CD pipeline typically has, or typically the way you'll use it is you'll make rules around the main branch. So
Hmm.
it's like anytime there's a commit to the main branch, do
Yeah.
this, or anytime there's a pull request to the main branch, do this.
Oh yeah.
And
These
so
pipelines are going to fail. These are.
uh, that's fine for now. But
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, anytime you're working on your CI/CD pipeline, you want to be making those commits to the main branch so you could trigger it and see if it's actually working.
Yeah.
That's kind of where this train of thought was going. Is we should be doing stuff on the main branch,
That's what I'm thinking too. All right.
which ironically, you're never supposed to work on the main branch, but I'm going to say there's an exception for when you're working on your CI/CD pipeline and you make commits like, "Is it working now?" Commit, and then it fails, and you go, "Okay, is it working now?" Commit, and then
it's
fails.
gonna yeah. So the CI/CD is gonna be like, you can't do it because the pipeline's totally failing because we're technically not doing anything. So jobs don't have right now. It doesn't actually have any jobs.
Can we just push it through anyways?
Yeah, we just gotta find a way. So update
Is there like
tests.
are you sure you want to merge this button? And we can say yes.
There are merge conflicts. Let's resolve the
merge conflicts.
Yeah, the best. Yeah, so I had like built that, so I'm gonna use this one.
Theirs.
This
we want
one?
to keep the one on the right. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that
Should be the only conflict. Whoa. No. Don't merge main into up.
Oh. Yeah, cancel that.
How did that happen? Let's try this again. To merge update test into main. I want to resolve the conflicts.
Oh, I see what you're
that's
saying.
just for the conflict, right?
Yeah. So it's going to do this merge commit to basically make this branch up to date with the main branch. So we're merging main into the update test branch to get them aligned, and then we can push this. Whew. That was weird for a second.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening?
How did that even happen?
And now it's trying to run the pipeline, and it's going to be like, no. Wonder how that's going to go. Actually, I wonder what it's trying to do. So yeah, like I said, up at the top, it shows you the GitLab runner, which one it's using. Using Docker Hub with the .NET latest image. And then it just does this for a hot minute. I wonder what jobs... I really wonder what jobs it's even running. Like, what are you trying to do?
You said that was just like the default .NET template, right?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's what.
There
we go. That's what I figured. In 520 milliseconds. All right. So let's go back to our CI/CD.
Some weird failure errors. That's all right. We can fix them.
Yeah.
And if they're actually real.
Yeah, if they're real. I don't think they're real. So I'm going to be like merge. It's going to be like... there we go. All right, merged into main. So now,
Sweet.
Main, and it's going to run the pipeline again. But we know it's going to fail because we haven't actually done anything with it yet. We have not changed a thing. And as much as things are plug and play, it's more like plug, adjust, and play for these sort of templates, which I feel like most people would be like, yeah, of course. You can't just literally plug and play. All right.
I like that.
Now, let's switch locally to the branch. To switch branches is checkout, right?
Sure. I use
the branch
GUI
name
instead of the command line.
I know. Hold on. So git checkout main. Your branch is behind by one commit and can be fast forwarded. Use git pull.
That's nice. That gives you a heads up.
Yeah. It's pretty rad.
Before you start doing stuff, you're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I keep getting this, and I'm like, it's because it's like if you don't do it without saying how to reconcile different branches is discouraged. It's like if you run one of these commands, you'll be fine. But I have been ignoring that for a little while now.
Yeah, I mean, that's really just what if a file you're working on locally was also changed in a recent commit?
Hmm.
So, like, you've edited this file, but when you do git pull, and that file was also edited by somebody else, so like Git won't know what to do with it. So that's
Yeah.
where this conflict will come in. So yeah, what you can tell it is like you could rebase to essentially make it look like the code you're now editing is editing from the latest greatest from main.
Yeah.
Or false would be like, nope, I just want to continue working back here. But I mean, if git pull fails, then that's when you have to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, exactly.
So like
In the meantime, I think we're good.
my recommendation is like just keep git pulling, and then one day there will be an error, and then you can figure it out.
Then it's time to learn.
Well, and then also like then it actually matters,
Hmm.
and each scenario is going to be very specific. So
Yeah.
if you see like the updates to the file that you're pulling down, and you're like, yes, I want to keep those, then yeah, you can rebase.
Yeah.
If you're looking at that and you're going, oh, I don't know why they did that because they shouldn't have,
Yeah.
then probably shouldn't rebase. But
Can
yeah.
you can you freebase, which is when you smoke cocaine? I think that's discouraged
I
as
don't
well,
recommend that.
actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
highly
I have
discouraged.
to say to my two viewers right now, don't recommend freebasing. Okay, so we are all caught up. We're on main, and now we gotta take this CI/CD file and make it pretty. So right there, repository files, and
Yeah. So I would say probably step one, and this is the easier step, um, is let's just get it to build the app and run the
mhm,
tests.
mhm.
And then, yeah, step two, we'll figure out how to have the CD, the continuous delivery to Azure set up.
Yes,
Because building and building and running tests is like literally just there's one command line command that says .NET build, and
hmm,
then there's another command line command that says .NET test.
yeah.
And I'm pretty confident we can do that.
I believe in us. All right.
And oh, look, that's where those variables are that we were talking about before the show.
Yep.
So like that NuGet packages directory, they just defined them right here.
Perfect. And source code path is, let's see, relative path to the source code from project repository root. Edit it so it matches the structure of your project. So that should just be, um, you know what's going to be easier is to do this in the web IDE. There we go.
Oh yeah, much easier.
You know you can do git pod now too. Have you heard of git pod?
No, what's that?
So git pod is an instance of Visual Studio Code in your browser, like with a terminal and everything.
Cool,
It's
cool.
hold on, I kind of want to show it off. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me find it. Let's go repo. Okay, so if you're on GitLab right here, this is you can open the whole project in Web IDE. If you've enabled Git pod, you just click it from the click down and do it, and it it's so freaking neat, dude. It's amazing. I am actually like I was doing it when I was working on my Twitter bots the other day, and I was like, it's Visual Studio Code. Like, there's even a terminal, and you can just like run stuff in the terminal in the browser. And here it is.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty stinking great.
It's real neat. Okay, so we got to edit this path so it matches the structure of our project to the source code
So
from
yeah, I
project
would just
root.
say dot slash because that means the current directory because
Mm-hmm.
that's where your it's looking for that SLN file,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in the same directory. So
Mm-hmm.
oh
Bang. All dependencies must be restored. Each machine's used only
true.
once. How to configure cache to pass over restored dependencies. Key. CI job stage, CI commit reference slug. And these are variables. Where are those from?
Yeah, so if you Google GitLab CI environment variables, there's likely some documentation
Oh
about
yeah.
the ones that you just get for free. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's all these variables that the people who set up the CI/CD pipeline needed and they use, and they want to surface these variables to us so we can use them. Yep.
Yep.
So all these things are stuff we don't have to set, but we can leverage if we want to.
Fantastic. So yeah, CI job stage, that's going to be whatever stage it's at. And then the commit ref slug is, I believe, um, let's see if I can find it. Let's just type slug. Let's see what we can find for slug. Yeah, commit ref slug. Perfect. Yeah, we get that one for free too. So it's the ref name. Okay. Just shortened.
So
which is the branch or tag
it's either,
name.
I was gonna say it's either main or it's like the commit number, which is like a basically like a GUID.
Yeah. All right, so that one's good. 3 paths that should be cached. The JSON file with information about package dependency, versions, frameworks, etc. Where's our JSON? Do we have a JSON?
So I would say let's ignore these right now because this is just talking about caching, which I don't know if it makes it more well. I always try not to optimize too soon. So like if we can get it running and every time it runs we find it takes 15 minutes and we're like that is unacceptable, then yeah, we can play around with caching policies, or because there's a good chance we can just get it running and everything will just work.
Cool.
And if that's the case, then great, we can ignore the caching stuff. if it doesn't work and we're looking at it, we're like, this should work. It's probably the caching stuff. So
okay, all right. So we've got a before script that runs. It's .NET restore, and that's the packages from NuGet packages directory, which was defined earlier. And then we've got. Did we declare a build stage up there? We might need to declare
we're declaring
that.
it right here.
But this is. Normally, you have to actually declare the stages up the top. Like, you have to name them first. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, this is already all included in the template, so
yeah, it was all there, so I would assume it's good. But I need to double check for my own sanity, because I want to make sure. There we go. Runners, yeah. Create it. Ensure you have runners. Create it. What if you don't have to declare it? All right, never mind. Back to this. All right, so .NET build, no restore.
Yep,
Tests.
and that'll totally work because we are in the current folder where the SLN file lives. So assuming the only thing that could go wrong here is versions of .NET. Like we're on .NET 5. We told GitHub CI/CD pipeline to use the latest version of .NET, which also is .NET 5. But yeah, I've seen stuff fail where maybe you need .NET 6, or maybe you also need 3.1, and you have to bring in specific versions for your code. But I think we'll be good. And even .NET Test here, that should be fine because .NET Test should. So .NET Test, you have two options. You can point it at the SLN, so the entire solution, or you can point it at a specific C# project. So if your solution, well, when you point it at the solution, it'll comb through it and it'll look for any unit testing thing, and if it finds it, it'll run it. So again, that should totally work. But sometimes like projects that I make, I'll make unit tests, then I'll also make UI tests.
Hmm.
And if you try to run the UI tests from the command line, it's just not going to work because like my UI tests need to run on an iOS device so they can
Right.
test the UI. Uh, so a lot of times for mine, I'll point it to the specific unit tests. So I'll say .NET test and then point it to, in this case, your new favorite poem .unit tests.
Yeah.
But in this case, your solution only has the one test and it is a unit test, and that's very that is able to be run by at the command line. So yeah, this should just work. Um, let's because we didn't change anything here, right?
We changed the path
Okay,
to
then
that.
let's commit this to
Okay.
and see what happens. Because basically, this is the way you do CI/CD. You make your best effort, and you go, "This should totally work. There's no reason why this should fail." And then you try it out, and every time your CI/CD will fail on the first attempt.
And it's just tradition.
As is true.
That's just how it is.
so so yeah, basically now that we've done it, we can watch this pipeline run, and when it fails, we'll have some more insight into what we were supposed to do instead of what we
Yeah,
did.
which
So
will be nice.
yeah, if you click on builds, does it show us the logs as it's running?
Hmm.
Cool. Yeah, we'll just watch this. This is why this is the funny thing to me with CI/CD or setting up CI/CD pipelines is they take so long to set up. Like if you're ever going to do this stuff, dedicate a day to it, sometimes a week if you got a lot of stuff going on, because a lot of it's just sitting around and waiting.
Hmm.
It's it's like imagine if your code took 10 minutes to compile every time,
Yeah.
and then you could only find the error message after those 10 minutes. That's what happens here. So like we just got an error message. So we have to figure out why that happened. Um, okay, so we got a fatal error when it tried to restore cache.
Hmm.
Okay, which it looks like it's still executed the next step in the pipeline, so we might be able to ignore that for right now.
Hmm.
Um, some pipelines will break at the first error. Some pipelines you configure to say, nope, just keep moving. If one step has an error, it doesn't matter. But
Hmm.
in this case, yeah, it's still restoring the NuGet packages. And
Hmm.
then actually that's what failed. So it says that .NET Framework Core 5 is not compatible with, oh, it gave us .NET Framework 5.
Yeah.
We don't want .NET Framework 5. We should be using
No.
.NET 5.
Right.
So we've got
So
to figure out, yeah, how the CI/CD pipeline is choosing its runner, like that image with Microsoft/.NET latest.
hmm
Let's dig into those docs because, yeah, .NET's weird. If you did
yeah.
.NET 10 years ago, you used .NET Framework, and then we came out with this thing called .NET Core that was a cross-platform implementation of .NET Framework. .NET Framework
Hmm.
only worked on Windows, and if I'm being honest, it's kind of a shit show for every IT person out there because it was embedded into Windows. So the
Oh
only way
yeah.
you could get the newest version of .NET Framework would be to update Windows. And so cool if it's just you and your computer that and you're the only computer running this app, but if me as a developer, if I needed the newest feature of .NET Framework to run my app, then I would have to ensure that every user who installed my app would have to update Windows. And so start scaling that out to a company that has 5,000 employees. The IT team now needs everybody to update Windows. Um, so that's when we broke that dependency between Windows and .NET and created
Hmm.
.NET Core. And .NET Core also runs on Linux and Mac OS, so it's totally cross-platform now.
Does all the good stuff. So we
But
need. Yeah.
let's say, just to finish that tangent, To make things even more confusing, we dropped the core from .NET Core now. So now, like .NET 5 is basically .NET Core 5, but we just call it .NET 5. So there's this weird in between period we're in where if you say .NET, you might be talking about .NET 5, but you
Hmm.
also might be talking about .NET Framework or .NET Core. And I mean, 10 years from now, it'll all be fine, but we're going through this weird naming transition. So that's my hunch on what's going on here.
Hmm.
Um,
So
so,
I think we could just pull this from Docker Hub.
what's the command that GitLab's using?
So it is image Microsoft /.NET latest.
And scroll up a little bit so we can read the comments because it's probably telling us something. Probably will tell us exactly what we need to do. Let's see. Instead of installing .NET Core SDK manually, a Docker image is used with I pre-installed .NET Core. Oh, you know what we should do
What's
before we
that?
start blaming GitLab for anything? Open up
Thanks.
your command line.
Ah,
Open up your terminal, and let's make sure this works locally. Because I've
okay.
also made this mistake where I'm like, why isn't this working? And it's like, oh, because my code was broken. So, yeah, it looks like you're in the same folder. If you type ls, we'll be able to see, like, is the SLN file here? Yep. So, yeah, let's say, how do we do this? Let's start with the .NET clean. That'll delete any, like, cached files. Doesn't delete all of them, but
Like
yeah,
that?
let's run that. And then we'll do a .NET restore ourselves. So now let's pretend like we are the CI/CD pipeline.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll do .NET restore, then .NET build, then .NET test, and make sure that all runs fine locally. So yeah, .NET build, because we know our local machine's set up properly.
We think.
Oh,
Boy, you thought.
okay, no errors. Good.
Yeah.
Uh, what are we getting yelled at for though?
It says build succeeded, and then the warning is conflicts between different versions of Entity Framework Core relational that couldn't be resolved.
Oh, okay, we could fix that. It's an easy fix.
Like there
But
were some updates that Visual Studio wanted me to run at the beginning. I didn't because we were in the middle of the show.
oh,
Because I had to talk about Halloween Horror Nights first. All right.
yeah, I think this is just we have probably the same NuGet package in the app that we also have in the unit test, and they're just
Hmm.
one version off.
Okay.
Is usually what that means. So it's like, hey, you got version 5.0.3 here, and you got version 5.0.2 over here.
Get it together.
I'm gonna make a guess at what I think you want. Yeah, I mean, this all looks like it's running. All right,
All
cool.
right.
So I'm gonna go back to our previous assumption that something's wrong on the CI/CD pipeline.
Yep.
So it says latest targets the latest available version of .NET Core SDK. If preferred, you can explicitly specify version of .NET Core. See other available tags, and okay. So is that where you went? Is that what the other tab was? The
Yeah, I was I was
docker.com/r/microsoft
on
slash
Docker
.NET.
Hub, but
There's
I
an
did
R
that I
in
did
there
that way
somewhere.
wrong. Yeah.
I just copy paste the link.
Yeah. You know I hate copy pasting.
No. The link
Oh,
that
oh,
one,
oh, this one.
and you could command click it.
There. Oh, it's I wish it would take me to it. Okay. Yeah, it should be this.
Um, that also says this. I don't like that it says official images for .NET Core 2.1/3.1. Oh, here we go. For more information, see the .NET 5 repository name announcement.
Okay.
Um,
So it says
So
this
one of
page
those
has
two links.
moved to .NET.
Yeah, let's click that one then.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that's what we want.
Do we need the .NET ASP.NET?
Um, Probably, but let's see. Go back to GitHub or GitLab
It's a backslash
image
here.
Microsoft/.NET latest.
Uh huh.
So yeah, we're looking for an image name that's something like that. And what are these Docker Hub images? So featured repos .NET/SDK actually. I mean, yeah, click on that ASP.NET one because I assume that'll include. It has to include .NET as
5.
well.
Yeah.
5 and 3.1 LTS. Uh,
I feel like this is the one we want.
yeah, yeah, we do. Let's try that one. So that I just don't know. What do we type in? I guess it's that mcr.microsoft.com. Because what GitLab wants is just the name of the image. It doesn't actually. It does the command, the Docker pull command for
Yeah.
us. So yeah, I'm guessing what you're guessing too, that if we just give it that image name, that this will be what it wants.
We'll find out.
And let's run it and see what happens.
All right.
Again, it's
You
like,
ready? Commit
welcome
directly to
to
main. All right. Changed image to oh, what did it change to?
probably still on your clipboard.
Yeah. Oh. Ah, too long.
That's just like a warning, though, right? We just
I
open
think it
with
doesn't
that.
let you. Let me see. Oh, okay.
Nice. I think that
I've
just
been
means
taking that as a shorten it.
like. I think it's just like when anybody's like perusing your code, that like little snippet of the commit that comes up, like those
Ah.
two letters won't appear. But if you were to, I don't know, maybe open it up on the terminal and say, show me the full commit message, blah, blah, blah. So what happened here
Wait, is this? Hold on.
19 seconds ago? Yeah, that has to be it.
Could not execute because the application was not found or .NET SDK was not installed.
Scroll up because there's our using Docker image.
Mm-hmm.
There's a SHA hash there, which I think means that worked.
Right? This one also failed really quickly.
It did, yeah. Could not execute because the application not found. It failed. Data program restore. See, all right. So here's where I'm struggling. When I do CI/CD, I'm used to installing .NET myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too familiar with Docker.
Mm-hmm.
Where so in this case, it wants to pull down a Docker image,
Yeah.
and so one of those Docker images will work. But I'm used to just saying, "Screw Docker images. I'll tell you what to install."
Mm-hmm.
So that could also be a path where we just don't do this Docker image step. But I don't know. You might need to do Docker because I don't see another step that says like on GitHub, we can say, we just tell it like use that Ubuntu machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I know like you've got my code running on Linux. Whereas,
I got no hope that that'll work, but it's more in line with what it looked like before.
huh? Yeah, I'm starting to Google just like GitLab Docker image .NET 5. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah. because before it was able to pull it and it found it, but then it was like it doesn't have an SDK, and I'm like, well,
Okay. Yeah. So revert the commit that you just did.
yeah,
So it looks like that new one got us farther away from where we wanted to be. Let's see. Oh, I got some good leads here on the GitHub or on the GitLab forums. So yeah, I mean, there's a chance that um, just isn't the right Docker image.
that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if it
That
has
was
ASP.NET Core workloads, it's got to include the .NET workloads. But let's just try it with that .NET SDK one.
that's what I was thinking.
And to be frank, I don't know how ASP.NET Core runs without .NET, but maybe it's just the runtime and not the actual SDK. So like, you need the SDK to compile the code. You need the runtime to run the code. So like some IT shops will only install runtimes if you're not actually writing code.
Right.
So all right, let's see what happened now.
All right, we reverted, and we had the Docker
Okay.
image, but it was the wrong one, so
Should have gotten the same failure then.
we got the same failure as before. So now we got to go to the files, we go to the web IDE, we go to XAML, and this should be .NET SDK 5. So, as is best practice, commit directly to main. Don't write a new commit message at all.
Right. Just throw out all the rules when you're working on CI/CD.
Listen,
It's frustrating enough as it is without more rules.
okay, so it's
Okay,
using
that
that
looks good.
image.
Come on.
Man, I wish we had background music.
Right?
I don't know why it wasn't working. Do you remember before? It was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's funny. That's why like I'll always have just the TV or music going in the background whenever I'm doing stuff like this, because yeah, you just have so much downtime. Like you need a couple minutes of intense focus just to be like, okay, why did it fail? What do I need to change? All right, let's try this. But then it's like 5 minutes of just hanging out. And so while the actual work we're doing for CI/CD like could probably edit this show and condense it down into like 10 minutes. But we have to wait. Oh, it got to .NET build. Yeah, okay, now we're cruising.
We just had to use the SDK, the .NET SDK. Did we
Yeah,
try
so
and get too specific with the ASP.NET Core?
Yeah, and I think that was just the ASP.NET Core runtime, which did not include the SDK,
Yep.
which I guess somebody out there somewhere would want. I'm just trying to think of like why would anybody want that? But I guess if you're like on the QA team and you're testing stuff, but you're not actually writing code, but like
Yeah.
just get the SDK because it has both. Then you can write code and run it. But,
Line 68. Job succeeded.
boom.
And then, no, let's go to
Oh,
jobs.
let's watch the tests.
Yeah, I was about to.
The build finished.
There we go.
And we just saw the tests pass locally.
Yeah.
And so this is always fun too, because
There we go.
I've gone through the struggle where my tests work on my machine, but they don't on the CI/CD machine. And if I'm being frank, usually that means something's not configured right, or how do I put this? I usually trust the CI/CD machine more than my machine.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's likely like either a file I forgot to commit, or there's like a local environment variable that I've set up that isn't really a thing. And so this is kind of my my battle, right? It's like, okay, I believe you, machine, but do I believe you?
But do I
Uh,
really believe you?
but that looks like it was good too.
Yeah. Past
Cool.
past 4, and now it's just
So,
gonna.
so probably some feedback we could give to whoever makes the templates is they need to update to use this this Docker image that we just found for the boilerplate .NET template,
Will it?
or they could keep the old template but be very explicit that it's .NET framework, not .NET.
Right.
Which
Right.
again,
And I think
is
that
it's no fault of them because our naming sucks.
yeah, that's Microsoft's naming happening there for sure. And that's a job succeeded, and the regular CI/CD works.
Boom. So technically, this is just CI because we're
Oh,
just
sorry, yes, that's
integrating.
yes. It's just
Uh,
integrating.
CD will be when we publish it to Azure automatically,
Oh
and
God,
that's going to be a million times harder.
I love seeing 2 green jobs pass.
This is good.
It's real good. I used to have it set up where I could do the reggae horn and a GitLab logo would pop on screen and disappear when I was streaming, but I haven't been able to figure out how I did it. Um,
Uh,
I definitely don't know how to do it with Restream, but I know how to do it with my Stream Deck and OBS. Anyway, now it's time to add things that automatically publish it.
yeah. So my first question would be, how do we configure the rules for this? Because something like this that builds the code and runs all the tests, we want that to run every time, right? Like maybe I've forked your repo, PJ,
Mm-hmm.
and I submit a pull request to you. Yeah, of course, we want that build and test to run because you need to know, is my code good before you merge it in with the main branch.
Mm-hmm.
But the deployment stuff where we're going to publish to Azure, we don't want that running every time. You don't want me just like opening up a pull request and all of a sudden my code appears on your production website. So, yeah, how do we make rules around like only do this? I would say a commit to main would be the only time we want to do the deployment part. So, like, don't want this to run on pull requests, don't want it to run on anybody's fork. Only if like there's a commit to my main branch.
It should be that. Let me see something. I'm gonna look at another. I'm gonna look at a project that has successful CI/CD on it, and that's my divas.
It's
And on that,
Twitter bot.
yeah, these are all the Twitter bots. And I've got like 6 now. Um, yeah, Shania
Might
bot,
be
Mechanical Carry, Badiana Grande
Bone
just got
Thugs.
paid. Bone Thugs on the first of the month. Kickstart, tweeting at Mountain Dew, and Taking Bot Sunday if you're feeling emo.
Taking bot Sunday.
7. The full Taking Bot Sunday was already taken, and I was so mad. So I had to put an underscore there. So now it's Taking Butt Sunday. But yeah, you can get some emo music videos from them. But let's look at this. Let's look at this YAML file.
Cool. Huh. That's a lot cleaner.
Only on main. So yeah, if you use
Okay.
the keyword only, you can define what branch. And there's a bunch of other rules and stuff. Like it's way cleaner, dude. It's running on Node. All it has to do is like to run to Heroku. This is it. Puts it
Yeah,
on Heroku.
I imagine I imagine we'll do something similar for Azure. where it'll have to put in like an API key, and I don't know. Azure's got things called like publishing profiles. I bet we'll have to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Only main. So I would say, well, selfishly, I want to rip out all the comments from our YAML file now because
Yeah.
I can read this really easily. Whereas like our YAML file, I feel like we are scrolling through a bunch of comments and it feels very overly complicated.
I think that's there because
But
it's like,
yeah, it's a
all the
template.
templates need tons of comments. So let's go ahead. We're just going to do a quick edit here since we're just getting rid of comments. Boop.
Plus, we're pretty much experts on that Docker image now,
I
anyways.
mean, like, yeah. Oh God. Oh God. Eh. Do 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 do.
Whew. Yeah, this feels good.
Oh, you like this,
uh,
don't you? You're really enjoying. Oh, hold on. I'll get rid of. Ah.
it's oh, I see what's going on. Yeah.
It's weird that I didn't have to define the stages.
Yeah, I saw that in your other file. Um,
Uh-oh. I must have gotten rid of the script on test.
oh
Sorry.
yeah. Command Z.
But
Or I could just tell
when?
it to you again. It's just .NET test.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was just gonna redo it because I felt like I don't know how, but it's like, oh, hold on. I know how. Whoop, there it is.
Easy.
All right. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna declare some stages.
And yeah, so I imagine we'll just have a stage called publish to Azure, or I don't know if you want like build, test, deploy is probably more.
Correct, right?
What's the literature term?
Canon.
Ah, there's something where like if you're using gerunds to describe something, then they should all be gerunds. Like
Oh,
or
I mean, that's just style, right? Like
style
if you,
points.
yeah, if you're starting with a
Like
verb on a list, they should all be a verb. If you're, yeah, all that stuff, all that stuff. All right, so
cool.
now we've got a do.
And so yeah, I would say for the deploy step, probably the first thing I would do is add that. What was it? Only or on? Whatever said
Only.
like only do this on main.
I'm gonna call the job
Oh. So you can say like
production.
this is like published to Azure or
Yeah,
yeah.
like you
I
can
see.
name the job anything you want,
I see.
and then you say what stage it is, and then let's do only main, and we're gonna keep that at the bottom because that seemed to be the nomenclature earlier. Script will be what we're telling it to do.
Just a shrug emoji for right now.
Yeah, just I don't know.
Oh, watch that just break everything. We don't know how to parse emojis.
Yeah, and I can even do the cool thing and look and see what the CI/CD over here does and see if there's anything else I got to pull that would be smart that isn't Heroku related. You can declare a different image
And
for it.
oh, right on.
And what it is you've got sort of like the whatever image you declare at the top, it's going to do that unless you declare a different image here inside the
Okay.
job itself, and then it'll use that one instead.
So I just did a little Googling
Ah.
because I don't want to have to figure this out if somebody else has.
Right?
um, Man, somebody put a step-by-step video together.
Oh, really?
Let's see, external. No, get that. Here, I'll just send you this link.
Yeah, hit me.
The steps here are kind of vague. Uh, like it just says like go to the Azure web app, but I think they'll be good enough to like. So scroll down. Eventually, you'll see like a YouTube video at the bottom. Yeah, so the steps are right
Step-by-step
above
video.
the YouTube video.
Okay.
So I think, and I recognize a lot of these steps. So I say let's give this a shot.
Okay.
The only thing you'll want to do, it looks like you have a second monitor set up, is anything where we need to pull your like API key production profile. If we see anything like that, then we'll do that off screen. Or immediately everybody will see the stream drop.
Yeah, it just immediately drops. We got to go change everything, and it's good times for everyone.
You hear a gasp, and then everything goes silent.
There has been,
Oh, no.
God, I was doing a show with Chloe and Adrian, and I can't remember Adrian's last name right now, but we were building a bot, and God, like I showed the API key, and I just went like, ugh, and then like went off screen, just started changing them immediately, and all this stuff, and then I did it again later in the same stream with the new keys. I didn't look. I was doing one monitor at the time, and I was like, I'm getting a second monitor soon. I promise. I'm so sorry, guys. All right. So
I've given away API keys in conference talks that were live streamed around the world and saved to YouTube. And so I remember
you can't go fix it right then.
Right. Well, so I gave the talk. And I got off stage. It was actually my GitHub API key, which is a bad one to give out.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
And somebody, we'll say nicely, had like opened up a pull request or opened up an issue on one of my repos as me, just saying like, "Hey, just FYI, you should rotate your API key because you just streamed it at was like Xamarin Developer Summit." So like.
Man.
Streamed it to just thousands of people around the world.
Did you know you had done it when you did it, or did you not realize until the person? Okay.
Yeah, I had planned on rotating after I got off stage, but I also didn't want to make a big deal about it while I'm on stage to draw attention to it.
Yeah.
So it was like I saw it and had that like moment. I was like, I'm gonna pretend like nothing happened, but
this is fine.
Somebody else thought too. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, if you make a big stink about it, like, oh no. Oh, I can't believe I just gave away my API key. People are gonna be like, "What? What happened? I can do what now?"
I can't even imagine. But like, I'm thinking of it not from a we can get his API key. I'm thinking of it from a oh no, and you like freak out and make a scene, and the whole like everything ends, and you're just going, oh man, I made a mess. Everyone's like, we didn't pay this guy to come here, did we? And you're just going, oh jeez, guys.
Oh jeez.
It's like me when I drop coffee or like do something like where I feel like a Butterfingers. I'm like, no, and my wife's like, will you stop yelling at yourself and just clean it up, please? And I'm like, all right, fine. All right. I'm going to disconnect this deployment to this GitHub. I'm going to disconnect that. Sorry. Boom. Select a source.
So these instructions say select external. Mm-hmm. So yeah, external Git. That looks good. And then it says to add your GitLab URL and the master branch. Oh, wait, did you save those? Don't leave before you save that.
Yeah, don't leave before I save.
Or just don't leave.
Yeah, hold on. You're right. I'll just use a different tab. All right. Copy. Azure. Branch automatically main. Very nice. Very nice.
And it's public, so we don't have to give them any passwords. That's nice.
Yep.
Okay. And that's... Oh, save. There's a save button at the top. I hate how Azure does this.
Azure!
Like, if you need me to click save, put that save button in the workflow.
Put it in the workflow! Show
Or
me
like
where I'm
worst case
looking.
scenario, just duplicate the save button.
Wild. Okay.
Um, so let's see. They they might have opened a commit or something. I don't know. Let's just see. Did anything change in GitLab? Because I remember when we connected to GitHub, they just committed the file for us. And so I don't know. Is there like a pull request open maybe? Because they wouldn't have commit access. So we didn't give them like
Right.
a login or anything like that.
No open
Nah.
MRs. Well, what do the instructions say here?
I mean, does it just do it?
Does it just do it? That's impossible.
It can't be that easy.
Because it wasn't that easy for GitHub, and they're owned by the same dad. They have the same daddy, Azure and GitHub. Let me check these credentials. Endpoint, application scope, username and password. I mean, that's app stuff. Logs. Is this true that the last time that we deployed was March? Wild.
Yeah, I guess.
Man. I
So let's
mean,
see.
it did say to choose a private repo, but
Yeah, but that's for whatever that
yeah,
person's doing.
for them, right?
Oh. So here's let me give you this other link. I just Googled
Okay.
for another source. Um, open that one up and scroll down. There's if you
Oh,
type in webhook or just
okay.
search for webhook. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
So everything we've done right now, we didn't hit that sync button.
That's interesting.
Okay, the button icon's a little different now, but okay. I don't know what that does.
It redeployed,
uh,
I guess.
so it says wait a few seconds and let Azure deploy your app. Status will change to success when deployment succeeds. If there are new changes to your master branch, click on sync so that Azure will pull and deploy. Oh, okay. So us connecting it here just made us. This wasn't really CI/CD. This was just
No.
we can come click the sync button, but there's another button there. So like that auto deployment using webhook. This is I think what we want to do.
Okay.
But this is where you might want to move stuff off screen because we'll need to see your like your credentials.
Mm. Got to see my credenza. All right, everyone can look at my Akira background.
So yeah, auto deployment using webhook is the last set of instructions here. This was written in 2019, so the portal on Azure has changed a bit.
Yeah.
But do you see those steps, and do you want to give it a shot off screen? See if that's
I think so. All right, so we need our app credentials so that our webhook can authenticate to Kudu. I don't know what Kudu is. Is that what he's? It's
yeah. I would ignore
it's
Kudu
his
for right now.
server. Okay. Let it deploy our application using its deploy endpoint. Go to Deployment Center, click Deployment Credentials beside Sync, and then copy the password. After that, I'm going to create an endpoint format with HTTPS // the site name, the password at site name, SCM AzureWebsites.net /deploy. So replace site name with the app service name, password with the password you copied, example, and then it gives a really, really long.
Yeah. So the simplified version of what's going on here is there's these things called webhooks. It's kind of like push notifications before push notifications.
Hmm.
And so it'll allow Azure to listen to your GitLab repo. And anytime there's been a commit to main, so it can basically subscribe to that. Anytime there's a commit to main, Azure can automatically just, well, this is what I'm guessing, is it'll automatically clone your repo and deploy
Hmm.
it.
Okay.
So it almost looks like we don't have to set this up in the CI/CD workflow in GitLab and tell GitLab, here's how you push to Azure. We can have Azure instead listen to GitLab, and when Azure via webhooks detects that there's been a commit to main, automatically pull the code and deploy it themselves. Which it's not bad. I mean, the nice thing there is we don't have to bring any credentials into GitLab. So we don't have to put any like all that like secret hiding we were talking about earlier,
Hmm.
where like looks like in GitHub it brings in all those secrets to your GitHub profile. Um, if if this is still doable, because again, this was written in
Yeah.
2019, which is might as well be 50 years ago.
Yeah. Webhooks has its own area in Azure now. So instead of just to say, instead of going integrations, Webhooks has its own thing. It asks for a URL and a secret token.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if maybe I should look up specifically GitLab Azure webhooks, see if we can find a more updated one. Because since this
I
has the
mean,
URL and the token separately, I'd imagine that's, you know what I mean?
we're definitely getting closer.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, GitLab Azure App Service webhook. Auto deploying to Azure App Services. Oh, that's 2016. It's even
Oh,
older.
that's even worse.
I like how in Google you can actually set the time. You ever do that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
I've done that before. Yeah,
yeah, this button says tools, and you can say only show me results from the last year.
yeah,
And I do that all the time as a developer because I'm like,
yeah. I
if
don't
it's
want
from
the old
5 years
stuff.
ago, I probably can't trust it.
Yeah,
Or like, I'm gonna
exactly.
try it, but I don't expect this to work.
All right. So I've got FTPS credentials can be scoped to the application or the user. I've got an FTPS endpoint here too. Ba-da-da, brighter love.
Ooh, on a Stack Overflow link.
Yeah, that'd be good. So it looks like they didn't
Not helpful.
input they did not input a secret token in the article that you sent. They just said stick it all in the URL, so it's possible that that could happen. As
Hmm.
long as this URL in the webhook stays hidden, then that'd be fine.
Yeah, and as long as you don't show it live on the stream right now,
Well, I
it
mean
should be good.
like it's a public is it public? Is this a public repo?
I mean,
Should be public.
the settings for the repo are usually all private to just the admins.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's I just remembered access. I'm a maintainer. I'm an owner of this. Anyone else looking at it would be like a viewer or at best a developer, and they don't have access to the settings. Okay. Um. Okay. So I just need to follow those instructions then. All right. So I'm gonna copy the webhook first. The whatchamacallit one. So okay, putting the URL in. Now I just got to get the site name, which is the name of your app. And there are two places that I'm going to paste that into.
Yeah. Soft Taco Raider said, "We're gonna need you to update your background to Mountain Dew."
Listen, they know how to make that happen.
Nice.
If they want it, they can have it, but they got to earn it.
There's a song about that.
If you want it, you can get it. All right, push events main. And add webhook. And when I look, ooh, I can test it. Cool. All right, and we should be okie dokie. And I'm gonna get out of the webhook so
Cool.
no one sees it. And does this mean we don't have to have anything here? I feel like we still have to have something here.
No. As long as GitHub is, as long as we have the webhook set up, GitHub will or GitLab will just tell Azure,
We're
or like
updated.
we'll just send that push event.
Yeah.
Like, hey, a commit to main happened, and as long as Azure set up to clone the repo, deploy the code.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the webhooks is one way to do it. I'd love to find out this way, but what I'll do is I'll probably reach out to some like coworkers, some other team members, and like be like, "Hey, anyone got any .NET Core experience? I want to or and like Azure experience. I need some help." And then I'll be able to have like a thing that I can talk about then, you know?
Yeah, when I imagine, so the GitHub pipeline we set up, that had the command line commands.
Yeah.
So we could maybe next week struggle through that because those command line commands are going to be the same. It's
Yeah.
just there was secrets and environment variables that
Yeah.
we'll have to bring in. So we just have to figure out what those secrets are, where they came from, copy paste them over to GitLab, and we
Yeah.
can definitely get it working. But
I'm
let's
just
see if
putting
it'll.
this echo in here just to have something under script. So I don't want to rewrite anything. We'll just replace that echo later.
Yeah,
So plus it's always fun to have something there. All right, let's commit.
and let's see if it publishes the website.
All right.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I mean, one of the things I'm wondering is how's Azure know which like what if you had two websites in that repository? Like, did you have
Right?
to specify a specific file? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. This should be
So
interesting. Also, it's
Azure
putting
should
us
be
close
doing
to
it.
time.
Yeah, Azure should be doing it right now because that webhook should have just fired. So if the webhook,
Oh!
what? Oh, it failed.
Interesting.
Let's see what happened. Update submodules, preparing, generating, running. I guess we just have to click show logs. Probably that last one, the
Makes me
running
nervous.
command. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. So the webhook's definitely set up,
the webhook works.
but we need to. That's what I was thinking. Like, we probably have to
Lord.
tell Azure what we wanted to deploy.
It thinks we're using 6.0. Check it out.
It could still work.
It's not possible to find any compatible framework version. Do we have a version latest somewhere?
Scroll. Where's that for app version 6? Did we? What? Wait, scroll up. Or can you scroll up?
Yeah. Okay.
So there should be something. I was hoping for like initializing .NET version blah blah blah.
Can you see that? Do you need me to zoom in?
Yeah, I can read it. So it's just okay. Those are the NuGet feeds. That's fine. Wait. Oh, right here. So .NET 5, and it's using the .NET SDK. So its SDK is .NET 6. And then if we scroll down, it yelled at us because it's using .NET 6 and we're still on .NET 5. Like, let's see.
Right here.
Not possible to find any compatible framework version. The framework version was not found. Um, yeah, I mean, shouldn't you install that yourself? Scroll down a little bit. Let's see how high these numbers go. Probably cuts off at 5. Yep. You can resolve the problem by installing the specified. Yeah, that's your job. Got it. Um, oh, okay. Deployment group didn't have the. Yeah, pretty much soft taco raider. But is that? Can we change that in the settings? Like,
that's what I'm
I,
wondering. Like,
I never saw an option for that. Like, I see that settings tab. I think
and
that's just
actually, like, check it out. Inside settings, it says version 5.
like. What does browse do? That just goes to your website?
Apparently, which
Okay, that's not
probably
helpful.
doesn't exist right now.
Okay, well, I guess we got some stuff to work on next week.
Meanwhile, actually, I mean,
Yeah, that's bizarre. We told it use .NET 5 and it's
yeah,
using .NET 6, and then it's mad at us because it didn't install the ASP.NET framework for .NET 6.
I did what you told me to do. No, you didn't. Ooh, let's see that echo. Cool. Nailed it. He does. This is what Soft Taco Writer saying.
Yes. Yes, it is
Local.
beautiful.
Yeah, he's gonna be great. One
And
day.
that's really the thing with CI/CD, right? Is like you spend a day just pulling your hair out, beating your head against the wall, but eventually you get it working, and then it just works forever, or it
Yeah.
works for a year until you need to update things, and then
Until someone changes a variable name.
right. But yeah, I mean, highly recommend it. I mean, all my projects that I do, my side projects where it's just me writing the code, always set up CI/CD because it's just me. So any of that like overhead I can save for myself is huge.
Yeah.
I also write a bunch of tests because I can't manually test everything myself. That would waste way too much time. But
Way too much time.
yeah, all this stuff is like it's an investment, right? It's like put your money in the stock market. It will pay off in the long run. CICD.
CICD is the stock market. That's what I just heard.
You
I'm
can
gonna
and
do
you can
some
make good money.
digging. Yeah, I'm gonna do some digging on my on Slack with GitLab. Be like, hey guys, I'm trying to deploy to Azure. Anyone got some help?
Yeah,
And
and even like I said, that the GitHub YAML file has
yeah,
the exact command line commands that you'll copy paste over,
hmm
and it's just wherever you see a variable, like
yeah,
I saw there's like what is like publish profile secret and some hash.
yeah,
You just need to figure out where to get that secret in Azure, add
and
it to
then put it,
GitLab
yeah, add it to
secrets.
GitLab secrets. Yeah, to what do we call
Actually,
them?
oh no, it's a secret. I say you could go into your GitHub profile, just copy paste those, but GitHub doesn't allow anybody to see the
It doesn't
secret.
let you once you've
Period.
established it. Like it doesn't let you ever see it again.
Yeah, you can change it, you can rotate it, so you can update it,
Hmm
but yeah, you can't copy paste, which is good.
Which is
It
good.
just makes our life a little harder. But
Just got to get that stuff from Azure. Well, dang y'all, that's it. That's all we got. I'm gonna click end stream. Bye.